Hi, everyone. And first of all, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody that is watching us today, because this is the first interview of the new year. And I'm really excited because I have a very special guest. And I have with me Derrick LaFrenier, and he will say his last name his own way, but this is how I will pronounce it in the French kind of, the French kind of way. And I'm excited to have Derrick here because he is a colleague of mine as a Proctor Gallagher consultant. And you would think that this is it, but there is way more to the story. The way that Derrick came to becoming a Proctor Gallagher consultant is really super interesting. And that's why I wanted to have him on my show and to just have him tell his story for all the people that are watching this, because I know that his story is extremely inspiring. And so I learned a lot from watching his videos, watching his reels, watching all the content that he puts out there. And I want that for my people too. I want my audience to watch his videos because they're just amazing. And so for a lot of us watching my content, it's a lot of people that are on a spiritual path, and they're looking what is their way, what are they going to do. And there's two kind of people that are watching me. That's the people that are on a spiritual journey from the day they were born, and they felt that there was something going on. And then the second group of people are all those people that had a severe traumatic experience in their life and became spiritual because of that. And so we're going to figure out in which category Derrick is sitting, what's going on in his life. So Derrick, welcome to my show. And please tell people a little bit more about yourself. How did you end up where you are today? And take your time. This doesn't have to be in two sentences. Just give us the story.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here, Rico. Uh, it depends on what someone's looking for. I mean, all of our stories are grand in our own way. So we are where we're going to be naturally by allowing ourselves to be open to what we truly are within inside ourselves. Now, I haven't always thought that way or believed that way. When my story started, it is like anyone when they were younger. However, we don't know the exact whens or hows. And to be really truthful, it doesn't matter how our story came to be. We don't want to be owned by that. We don't want to allow our story to anchor us. We don't want to allow beliefs to anchor us. Beliefs are a very important word because beliefs are in our subconscious dictating how we behave. I would like you to entertain the understanding of releasing all beliefs. Imagine for a moment if you weren't entangled with any beliefs at all, the freedom of life you would have to choose the life you would love to be living. There are gifts within that that you can't currently imagine yet. And the reason I say you can't currently imagine them yet is because your beliefs are restricting your ability to see other than. And as we release those things, the glory of all that is truly begins to come to us. In 2008, I went into detox for the final time. I was homeless, a drunk, and I mean my brain was gone, dehydrated drunk. I was flatlining. I engaged in many years of cocaine and ecstasy and good partying. I would love to say truthfully how fun my 20s were, my experiences through those. Then the pain did come in. There was a near drowning in 2005. That near drowning led to my first bout of grand mal seizures. During these seizures, I began to have concussions after concussion after concussion because I would have a seizure and fall downstairs. I would have a seizure in a street and hit a curb. I ended up having my license suspended because I was having seizures while driving. Then I came into flatlining, and it wouldn't stop me. I kept drinking. So I finally, after going through detoxes several times, I was in Florida visiting a friend, and he said he was disappointed in me. That that disappointment is what shifted in me. Because I couldn't tell you how many times in my life I was at the bottom of my stairs wanting to be absolutely dead. I mean, that is what you're doing. You are slowly killing yourself intentionally. We don't pretend that it was fun to always be in that hidden pain. So I don't have any of these outer worldly experiences where I saw the light because the amount of traumatic brain injury I received, there are many years of my life that have not permanently been erased, but I have lost current memory of. And through time, those things do come back. The importance of what happened to me is while I was going through the VA, fortunately, as a veteran, you do have things available to you. I have a shirt on right now that's 22. It's the Valhalla Project. They say 22 veterans a day commit suicide. And we do these things because of what's going on inside our mind. We are confused in the chaos. We are lost because our thoughts are running all over the place. Our brain does not have correct neural path connections happening anymore. And we believe we don't have support. Now, that's not the truth. We always have support. We just chose not to reach out for it.
Better.
So when I decided to reach out for it, I began to get help. The key word I said there is I made a decision. When I made that decision, I'm going to get better. There's no fucking way, excuse me, that I'm going to live the rest of my life this way. And when I made that decision, everything else elevated. I was able to start receiving information on another level. Now, I didn't have all the answers, and the work wasn't done for me, but I had set myself on a path to do something better. So I went through programs through the VA. The first one is 6 weeks. During those 6 weeks, I went to my hometown to see my mom. While I was in the Stop and Shop, I was walking down an aisle, and I just gently said to myself, if I wasn't going back to the VA today, I would go out drinking tonight. So as soon as I got back to the facility, I said, I need more help. Because if I go back, I know I'm going to go back down that hole. Why did I do that? I heard my subconscious talking to me. I heard through observation of what's going on in my subconscious that I'm going to continue that other pathway. And so I had to intellectually say, well, that's not the way I want it to be. What can I do? So I asked for more help. I asked for more guidance. I went to people who had been through something before and are making it. I didn't talk to anyone else because they're not going to understand what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
So then I applied and got into a 90-day program. In that 90-day program, I realized I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And I need more. So I found an 18-month program after that. Now, during that program is when I got into meditation. So this is when I actually watched The Secret. So I was
Okay.
watching The Secret, and I didn't get the idea of wealth and all these other things. The Secret to me wasn't new information. The Secret just made sense because it's not a secret.
Exactly. That's so true. Yeah.
So while watching, they asked the question, well, what do you want for you? And right at that moment, I'm like, I want health. I mean, without health, everything else just doesn't matter to me at all. I want my health. And then that's when I got into Holosync meditation from Centerpoint Institute. And now there's an investment for that. You have to buy it. Now, I am in a halfway house of male veterans. So it's a very masculine surrounding. And I'm working in something called compensated work therapy, CWT. So I'm earning $8 an hour to work in the Veterans Affairs hospitals as a non-employee. You're a patient. You're receiving an income of $8 an hour, but you have housing and food supplied for you. So it's actually very beneficial. I loved it. The $8 an hour doesn't add up to much a week, but I'd go to the bank, cash the check, and I would take $100. I would always ask for a $100 bill, and I would each week fold a new $100 bill and put it in. So over a year, I had $5,000 in cash in my pocket that I was working something subconsciously that I didn't know I was doing at the time. So for me to invest in that meditation program was an investment because it was $149, which isn't a lot of money. But when you barely make that in a week, it's
Yeah,
it was
yeah, sure.
right. So through this period, I got into the meditation and I started doing it. Now, at first, I'm fidgeting, I'm opening, closing my eyes, I'm not getting calm, I'm always looking around. Am I being looked at? Everything's coming. All the all that you would imagine is what happens to you.
Yeah.
And then I finally was able to settle in. Now it turns into an hour long a day that you have to do this. So through this, you're sitting there, and then after a few weeks, I'm able to get calm and quiet. Your brain is connecting. You are whole brained. You are not left hemisphered, right hemisphered. You are not right-handed or left-handed. You are a whole being. So as my neural connections were starting to come together, my brain was doing what it is supposed to do. Everything around you starts shifting and changing.
Yeah.
Now, when you're going through these programs, you have psychiatrists, psychologists, and therapists that you have to work with because they're watching you through the whole process. It's a part of their work and it's a part of the work on you. The changes I was going through were so rapid. I could not discuss it with the psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist because I came from homelessness as a drunk who was delusional. So you have to hide these things as you're going through the change because I didn't have anyone I could go to. So it's a very odd time to be in. And then through this process, I ended up getting a job at the VA, actually hired by it. So I always joke to people when I worked at the VA, well, I started here on the deathbed because I literally did. I flatlined. I was dead in the VA hospital, and then I got a job there. So I came in at the bottom tier.
Yeah. Yeah, go on, go on. I'm going I have wrote already a couple of things down. I want to I have a lot of questions here and interesting stuff, but go on. When I see you're not done.
Yeah, well, this because there's so much more, but I'll keep it as brief. So then through this process of me getting employed, I I started excelling. I went in and I started getting other programs that would help me do things. So as I'm working through all of these, people would come to me and ask for guidance. The assistant chief, Wayne, said, "When are you going to flip your placard?" And I didn't know what he meant by that. And I'm like, "I don't know what that means." And he said, "When are you going to open for business?" So that day, as soon as I got home, I did research on becoming partially what I became today. And that brought me out to California to get master certified in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. As soon as I came back, I immediately started business. So I said lots of very important things. I made a decision, I sought guidance, and I moved with a sense of urgency in everything that I did. And every single day I made mistakes all day long. I failed all day, every day, continuously, but all of those failures were achievements. Every bit of information I was studying, I implemented immediately. I didn't read it and then put it down. I read it. If it was one line and it told me to do something, I went out and I did it. So I created the habit of implementing everything with a sense of urgency and course correcting the entire way. Everything else in your life will begin to change from there. Now, I have a deeper set of a previous story from my youth, but those are the darker
Maybe we'll
sides.
get there. Maybe we'll get there because there's a couple of things I really would like to point out, because the reason why we do this conversations and why we put them out there, the main goal is to help other people, to inspire others, to make others feel they're not alone, to show that it's a journey. A lot of people are looking at somebody with a success story and they say, "Oh my God, this is so far out. I can never get there. There's no way that I can do that." And they give up before they even started because they think they can't. But if I look at your story, and I definitely never flatlined, and I definitely didn't have to. It's a total, it's not the same story, but in a way it is the same story. I also was standing in front of a mirror and I said, "I don't want to live my life like I'm living today one more second." And you said those same words. You said, like, "I don't want to live my life this way." And so a lot of people, they look at themselves and they say, "I don't want to live my life this way," but they still keep doing the same things. And we know why, because they're wired that way. The paradigms are there. Like, it's not so easy. And they say, "I failed." But and I would love to say so much more also, because there's so much going on, but making the decision, and it's something that comes up with other guests too, that is the moment, that is a transformational moment. And at that moment, you're not even close to knowing what to do or getting information. You're not, it is, but it is 80%. It's so powerful. Bob Proctor would say making the decision is like the most important moment. And that is the truth. Like, it is life-changing when, and you know, when you make that decision, like really consciously, I make the decision now. And in your case, it was this, like, for me, in your case, it was a friend that says, I don't remember exactly the words, but a friend was disappointed in you. And for me, it was looking at my children and thinking, "Oh my God, what kind of an example am I?" Like, so we all have something, it looks, and it's the same thing. It's like something outside of us. We wouldn't do it for ourselves. It didn't happen until something outside was giving us it's enough. And that's the moment that you make a decision. And then you said, now I need help. And help means now I need to understand what's going on. Now I need something outside of me. Also, I can't do this alone. The understanding that you can't do this alone, that you need something, help. It can be other people, or it can be but you need something outside of you to help you. And then you said the change went so fast that I couldn't even talk about it. It like what went on with me was way beyond what the normal therapy and normal because you had that drive. I felt exactly the same way. Like when I would go to to my therapist or my psychiatrist, I felt like they really didn't move fast enough. They didn't understand at a certain point anymore. And so it is interesting how then at the end you also flipped it, like now I'm going to help others doing the same, which makes it almost, and now I talk for myself, worthwhile to go through the experience, because you can never, and I just read it this morning in somebody's feed. It has to do with like being in toxic relationships, that you can never understand how it feels to be in a toxic, abusive relationship if you never were in it. And it's a similar thing. If you never went through certain hardship, it's hard to understand what people are go through. So you get like this kind of compassion and respect also. I have an enormous amount of respect for your journey, because I know how hard it is and it's not, it is, for me, it felt like a fight sometimes against my subconscious, like I'm not gonna give in to the programs, so
It
that's,
is an absolute
yeah,
fight. Well, especially when you're coming from there is no absolute bottom because it can always get worse. I was homeless on the street, having a seizure and laying in my own urine. I'm not saying that in a proud way, but I'm not ashamed of it in any means whatsoever. My brain was not working. I mean, it was functioning, but I was delusional.
yeah. I think
And
it's an important point, and I want to pinpoint that, because you see, this is the first thing I say to people that work with me, and I take the stress off. It's not your fault. And it is your responsibility to get out, but it's not your fault. There's a huge difference. And I know you agree, you agree with that.
oh,
So
absolutely. I don't play the victim game whatsoever. All the things that happened in my life, I am fully grateful for. Now, I was molested, but before I was even the age of 10 by my brother's best friend. I can hold those scenes in my hand. I can smell the smells of that scenes or those scenes over that extended period of time. And there is no nervous system fault going on in me. Like it does not have any bother to me. And I don't blame him at all because I learned that he was programmed by someone else. So something had occurred to him. So he didn't do anything wrong to me. And there are going to be a lot of people who have been through that experience as well who won't feel that way. And I grasp and understand that.
yeah,
I'm not asking you that you need to feel that way. That's forgiveness on its true level.
high level.
Atonement on all things. The Course of Miracles, understanding that there is nothing to be forgiven for. I have forgiven myself to the extent where I have faced all the things that I have done in my life. I don't pretend they don't exist. However, they don't own me.
Yeah,
They're experiences that I went through, which allow me the ability to be fully present with anyone
yeah,
and have a true understanding. Obviously, there are certain things I don't have that I haven't experienced, but I can grasp where someone is coming from. So these gifts allow us the ability to be there. Those that you see in the brightest lights have been through the darkest of times.
yeah. And also, I want to now go back to what you said in the beginning, that we are not our stories. We shouldn't identify ourselves with our stories, because that's not who we are. We are like that infinite being that is using this body minds to have this earthly experience. And so all the stories that we are identifying with, some of them are bad, some of them are good, but they're just stories. And of course, those stories, and sometimes like specifically in the non-duality world, we say we're all one, there is nothing, there's only one, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to search for. It is very hard for most people because it looks very real, the trauma that you go through. And with whatever is going on in the world, it is really real. It is not respectful in my book to say like there's it's all part of like we're one and it's all whatever. You cannot poo-poo that away. When you are in that moment, it is really real. And that is also why it is so hard to get out, because it is, even though we know it's all an illusion, it is very easy to say it's all an illusion, because when you are in it, it hurts. It is not, it's not something to just like throw out with the garbage. It's not. It's a serious thing. And this is what I always refer to, what Bessel van der Kolk would say, the body keeps the score. Whatever happened to you on a body mind, it is sitting there. It is not going away without you working on that. And you did a lot of work, you know.
I did. I faced it and released it. There
Yeah.
is I don't hold anything in. If something comes up, an old memory comes in, I cleanse and purify everything. So that doesn't mean I'm pure of thought. No, you have, I have, I'm a veteran. I have things that I've done that those memories come in. Those aren't pure thoughts. I went through my years of drinking and drugging and excessive partying. So you engage in a lot of activities that those thoughts still come in, those memories still come in. However, I'm not controlled by them. So when a thought comes in, if it activates something that's been dormant within me, I'm able to view it. I do not suppress it. I let it rise up. And now I can see it. I am constantly in a state of neutrality. People always send me messages. You're the most positive person I know. And I smile and I say, the truth is, I'm the most neutral person. I activate the positive aspect and I get back to neutrality. I don't activate the negative. When it wants to be activated, I detach and then I get neutral and I allow what it is to come up. It's like observing a sailboat. You're sitting on a pier and you're watching boats float by.
Yeah.
You don't have to be attached to them. You can completely describe them in their entire detail, but you just allow it to float on its way. You don't allow it to control you. And then I awaken that which I'm working towards. I get into the spirit of that which I'm creating, and I bring that into the moment. And then I activate what I want that to be with the emotional context of the beauty within that. And then I perform all activities that are in alignment with that. So I fall in love with the idea I'm creating by going to the spirit of it. I awaken the idea in the spirit, the realm that isn't this physical field. This is where I spend most of my time, do all the work in here. And then I bring the cleansed me, the version, the person who operates from that state, the completed state of that which I'm achieving. So at that point, it was to be completely healed. So what decisions, what thoughts, what emotions, ideals, what attitudes does that person have? And you operate only with those, not with the old way of me, always the new way. So there's no future. I'm making the future right now, and I'm operating as that being right now. And then eventually it will be physical realm for me. the physical body change through time. My brain, if you did a scan of my brain, you'd say, good boy, Derrick. all the all the things that were going on with it before, and then if you look at it now, the doctors just look at me like, what did you do? Because they told me I've had 8 leg surgeries.
Wow.
They're like, you're gonna not gonna be able to walk this way. You're gonna be on medication forever. Once they told me on the medication I was on for the seizures, they're like, well, we're checking your liver because the what we have you on is gonna destroy your liver, so we have to get you on something else. And I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, well, I'm coming off all of this, but I did it correctly. I didn't just stop everything. I sought counsel, meaning I looked for people on all sides of the spectrum, meaning opposing ideas to mine. You don't want to listen to just what you want to hear. You want to gain a true understanding by talking to the experts in the field, not to those who don't know. Then sitting back from a state of neutrality, what is it I'm doing for me? What is the best outcome? And then I stuck to that. I told them my decision. They said, here's the proper way for you to wean off. And then I came off them. I didn't allow the fears that they presented me with to control my decision making. And I didn't allow them to control my thinking. And then I moved forward in life. I did all the things that would be in alignment with perfect health. And then everything else changed
I
because of
don't,
those things.
yeah, I don't think that people realize how valuable this last 2 minutes were. I think they should rewind. If you're dealing with anything in life, it can be health, wealth, relationship, it doesn't matter. If you just listen to what Derrick just said the last 2 minutes and you follow that process, you're in good shape. It was, I don't know if you remember what you just said, but because it was very inspirational and not really, it wasn't even inspirational. It was very down to earth. This is what it is. This is the formula. This is the formula. And the formula on how to really change your life. And the fact that your brain looks so much better and that you rewired your brain is exactly, again, like what science is figuring out. Like they thought once your brain is damaged, there's nothing that you can do. That is not true. You can rewire your brain, and there are multiple examples right now, and you're just one of them. And everybody is capable of doing that. But again, it takes work. It is not, and let me put it this way. Work is sometimes a word that people don't want to hear. It takes awareness. It takes consciousness. It takes knowing what is going on. Like intellectually understanding and then implementing it. Like when your subconscious is trying to fool you, you have to intellectually know, no, 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 we're not going to do this. Like you say, you don't want to listen just to the people that are telling you what you want to hear, because that's what people do. That's human nature. You have to go against what we think is human nature. You have to really push yourself through that, and that is the hard part. I think for me, I'm still every day fighting with that. There's no day that goes by that I did this formula, whatever you just said, like you go, like you have to go to that neutrality and then working with that. There's not one day that goes by that I lose that neutrality. Doesn't happen yet, but very lucky because I'm aware. I'm aware, and I things are happening to me, which is, of course, we know that that's not true. But I mean, there's things are arising. Like you said, the boat is coming. You see the boat coming, and you take it on anyway. I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? You know? But at least we know, we understand. To get to that point is also like It's a journey. It's a journey. So let me ask you something else. What did you do? Let's say a day went by and it really didn't go well. You had a hard time. What did you do to get back on track?
Well, I don't have those days anymore.
Yeah, but when it
So
in the beginning, when you were really like starting your journey, and it's not easy in the beginning because you really have to get used to this. And there is multiple occasions that your mind says, give up, it's not gonna work, this is not for you, blah, blah, all the shit that comes up. What did you do?
I had made the decision. I was disciplined. It didn't matter how uncomfortable it felt. It the best description, if you've ever fasted, fasting is the best way to understand changing something. Because to fast, your brain chemistry and your body functions alter. So what's going on is, let's say you're having a glucose change, the brain's going to activate something which is going to tell you you need sugar. You don't need sugar, but you have this feeling that you do. So you have to, this is when you have to stop and say, the feeling isn't me. The feeling will fade away. And it's the ability to sit with that. And I would get calm, get centered. I would breathe. Breathing, breathing is one of the most, it is the most important function you can learn how to do, not one of, because prana, the breath of life, chi, life force, that is God within you. When you are born, the baby, you as a baby is a heartbeat, and there's still an umbilical cord, so there's oxygen flowing, but it's liquid. But until the baby is smacked, and you can see that breath, the prana, the chi, it comes in and it activates you.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, now the being is inside the vessel.
yeah,
And many of us have held someone as they pass away. You can feel it, and you can see it, and you can hear it leave the body. It's the last thing that leaves the body. And then they're just an empty a vessel at that point. Understanding the importance of slow, calm, deep diaphragm breathing will allow you to calm down in any scenario.
yeah,
It's what we teach in special ops when we're going into an engagement. The calmer you are, the more focused you will be on the field. The calmer and more centered you are, it allows you to raise your awareness so you can see the entirety of the field. You are not looking at it through the streets. Right now, whoever's watching this, it doesn't matter what your level of awareness is, you're on street level and you're looking through the cars and you can't see the solutions because you have everything blocking your way. When you get calm and centered, it's like a balloon floating up, and the higher it goes, the more you can see. You get to the top of the building, you can see all the ways that are available to you, all the opportunities that are within everything around you. You could now see the opportunities. You realize that everything is an opportunity. There are no problems, there are only solutions. There are only opportunities in front of you. So when I had that discomfort, I would breathe, I would get calm, and I would just gently say to myself, here is your opportunity to grow through this. As you release it, the discomfort or the pain disappears. What I've done is I stopped focusing on the other thing. What you feed grows. Stop focusing on that which isn't growing you. Focus only on that which is growing you and feed it and fuel it and love it and awaken it and bring everything that is you into it, and it will fuel you to grow. There is something within you that is deep seated in your consciousness. It is concealed by paradigms. The beliefs that we release will open up and let the you within you awaken. And all you have to do is no longer focus on that which isn't. Focus on that which is your truth and allow it to unfold naturally for you.
Yeah. Again, you guys, you should go back, listen to this last couple of minutes. It's like, it's so golden. It is exactly what you need to get through difficult situations. But I think the first thing to what you said was you stop. So that's the action. When you feel like it's not going the way it should go, you have to stop. Stop and then get into that space within. Like I have some meditations not even a meditation, like where I teach you how to get into heart brain coherence. So if people want to find that, I do have some videos on the channel to go into that heart brain coherence. When you stop, like, how do you do that? Because that's where the magic starts. I'm not, and again, like every day I have to say stop, let's breathe, because it's true, like your breath is just one of the answers. You have to learn how to use your breath to in your benefit. Instead of starting to hyperventilate, you better tone it down. Can
Right. So
the breath can go both ways.
yes. So control your breathing and then get conscious awareness of your subconscious.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like sitting in the sun here. I don't know if you guys see it, but this is the first day that there is sun where I am in 7 weeks. They measured that, so I'm in Belgium, and they measured that there were 17 hours of sunlight in December in the whole month. 17 hours. I don't know if you understand what that
That's
means.
just
And it is like one of the, and now I'm like confused because I think that I think 17 was the lowest. I think we had 19. It doesn't matter, 17 or 19 hours. And I think the other, the lowest was 30 years ago. So it's something that is a thing here. How many hours did we get some light in this country? It's like in the winter time. So I'm so excited to be in the sun, so I'm not taking it away. Okay, so we are already talking for a long time, so I think we're gonna start wrapping it up. So is there one thing that you would tell people that are on this journey and they just made a decision, like it's enough, I'm gonna change my life? What would be a tip, like something that you want to give to people that are just starting this journey and they're really like on their knees, they're not doing that great, but they want to change, they made decision, they have the discipline, they go?
wow. Well, if you've made the decision, that's the most challenging part. Then it's finding a person who has been through and fully achieved what you want. So whether it's you are suicidal and feeling that you wanted the end like I was, or whether you're financially broke, I was financially, I had no money at all. You want to find the persons that have achieved what you want to achieve. Ask for guidance. They will want to help you, but you have to do what they tell you to do. This isn't an option. They're aware of things that you're not aware of yet. They see and know things that you don't currently know or understand. You know it on a subconscious level. It's concealed right now. And you have to surrender to that.
Right.
Accept the ideas that they're offering you and then act on them. Action is crucial in the when people call the spiritual world of things. I dislike how everyone separates everything. When you, I forget where I was going with that. You're you don't want to you want to listen to what they're saying and behave and act the way that you need to. Without action, you're not going to change your paradigm.
Yeah.
Action is what needs to happen. So find the persons that have been through or have achieved what you want. If it's a financial goal, make sure it's a person that's achieved it and only talk to them about it. Don't talk to anyone else about it because they're going to feed you their disbeliefs. Your old ways will anchor on to their disbeliefs and keep pulling you down. You have to ignore your surroundings. You have to ignore the people that you love. They mean the best. They actually absolutely mean the best for you. They're talking to you from their current state of consciousness. So you have to find the one person that you want to mentor you and then stay on track. Remove the outside world to control your thinking. You have to begin to be the master of your thinking. And that's the most challenging thing to do, to think truth regardless of appearance. That was
It's
a
the
little
truth.
bit more than,
We got the
yeah.
ringtone, so it's the truth. And no, and it is 100% the truth. Um this is so valuable. Again, you have to find the right person. And I promise you, your gut knows. You will have to sit with it. Like, go to that person, like you say, it is so crucial, because if you are listening to the wrong people, and usually it is somebody that you say that usually your first thinking will be, no, 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 that's not the right person, but your gut already knew. So that gut feeling comes first, and then you start rationally, like the rational mind comes up and it says, no, it's too expensive, or it's too far, or it's too long, I can't do this. You have to listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, and then you will find that right and you have to block everything out. That's one of the things that I do in my challenge. In day number 5, I talk about the influence of family and friends. You need to get them, you can't listen to them, they didn't go through it. So, and with love, because they mean so well, but they're not always the best people to listen to, because there's so much to say about that. There's so much to say about that. All right, so where can people find you, Derrick, when they really connect with you, when they feel like you might even be that person that can help them? Where can they find you?
Facebook. Facebook is the best place to find me. So my name, Derrick LaFrenier.
I will put a link to your Facebook page in
Yeah,
comments here. So
that's the best. And if you send me a message and let me know that you saw this video, then I'll immediately assist you in any way, direct you in anything that'll be correct for you to get in the right hands for whatever guidance you're looking for. I help people become very successful in life. However, if you're in a different stage, I would absolutely offer any guidance that would put you in the right direction.
got it. That's so cool. Thank you so much.
And
I
thank you.
I could keep talking to you for hours, and I really know that this video, if people are still listening to my words right now, then they 100% got a lot of value out of it. But there are so many golden nuggets through whatever came out of your mouth that I would just recommend everybody to listen again, because you definitely didn't hear everything that Derrick said, and you would miss something. So Derrick, thank you so much for being on my channel and having this interview with me. And I really admire your the way that you walk through life, and how disciplined you were, because that is something that I definitely can learn from. So
I'm grateful.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, for everybody else, this is going to be the first one for this year. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, you guys will get a new interview on my channel. So see you soon.